Shadows by the Riverbank. In the village of Yumikis, nestled between the whispering palms and the ever-singing river, life was simple and sweet. The villagers lived in harmony with nature, and their lives moved to the rhythms of the seasons. In this quiet world, two young hearts found each other. Shakir, the tall and thoughtful son of a palm wine tapper, and Nina, the graceful daughter of a widow who sold vegetables at the market. Their love blossomed like the hibiscus flowers by the riverbank. From childhood, they had been playmates, sharing roasted maize and secret jokes. As they grew, so did their affection. They would meet at dusk by the river, whispering dreams into the cool breeze, away from the prying eyes of elders and gossiping tongues. It was on an evening like any other, during the season when yams sprouted and the air was thick with the promise of rain, that they went to fetch water from the river. The sun hung low, casting golden streaks across the water's surface. Clay pots in hand, they dipped into the river, laughing and splashing like children. "Let's play hide and seek," Shakir said, mischief lighting his eyes. You think you can hide from me?" Nina teased. He darted into the woods, and she followed, laughing. They played deep into the underbrush, hiding behind bushes and trees, chasing each other, their laughter echoing like bells. Time slipped by unnoticed. When they paused to catch their breath, the river was nowhere to be seen. They looked around. The familiar path was gone. The trees now loomed taller, their branches clawing at the darkening sky. "Shakir, this isn't funny anymore," Nina said, fear creeping into her voice. "We must have gone too far," he replied. "Let's retrace our steps." But every direction looked the same. As darkness fell, the forest grew colder, its sounds more sinister. Crickets chirped less, and shadows lengthened unnaturally. Then they saw it, a crooked hut in a clearing, its walls blackened by smoke, its thatched roof sagging with decay. "Should we knock?" Nina whispered. "We need help," Shakir said, stepping forward. The door creaked open on its own. A woman emerged, bent with age, her skin like bark, her hair twisted like old ropes. Her eyes were white, blank. "Children," she said with a crooked smile. "Lost, are you?" "Yes. We need to find our way back to Yumikis," Shakir said. "The forest is dangerous at night. Come in." Inside, the hut was darker than outside. Bones hung from the rafters, and dried herbs filled the air with an earthy, bitter scent. The woman gave them a bowl of watery gruel. They ate hesitantly. Soon after, their limbs grew heavy. They awoke bound in a small room with walls of clay and no windows. Days passed in torment. The witch brought them raw meat each night, dog meat, freshly killed. "Eat," she would hiss, throwing the bloody chunks on banana leaves. Sometimes she returned with fur in her teeth, sometimes with collars still attached to the necks. Shakir recognized one. It had belonged to a neighbor's dog. They were beaten with vine whips, scratched by invisible claws when they disobeyed. The witch spoke in strange tongues and danced by firelight. But they held each other in the dark. They whispered their names. They told stories from home. They refused to forget who they were. Nina noticed the witch's habits. She always hid a small gourd behind a cracked clay pot before leaving. She muttered over it each morning. Shakir remembered a tale. Witches hid their life force in objects. One night, when the witch had drunk deeply from her blood-red wine, Nina crept out and took the gourd. It pulsed in her hands. "The fire," Shakir said. "We burn it." At dawn, as the witch stirred her pot, Nina flung the contents of the gourd into the flames. The fire turned blue. A shriek split the air. The witch fell, writhing, her body cracking like dry wood. The vines snapped. The spirits howled in protest. The lovers ran, dodging clawed trees and shadowy beasts. They reached the river at dawn. It shimmered gold. The path appeared. They crossed barefoot, their skin torn and dirty. But they were free. When they reached Yumakis, no one believed them until the dogs stopped disappearing, until the path by the river vanished. Their story spread. Some said they escaped death. Others believed they had walked through a spirit world. They never told the full tale, but their eyes spoke of pain and survival. They married quietly, under the baobab where they once played. And though they smiled less, they held each other like the world could end at any moment. Because once it almost did.